Hello and welcome to Coming Into Being. So just have a seat, get a cup of coffee or tea if you want. As I go live here on Instagram. So we're just getting ourselves set up to get going. Here we go. All right, we're good to go now. So welcome to Coming Into Being and sending out my message. So here we are, Coming Into Being. Yes, it's fall and we're here, and good to have you join us. So just take a moment to just kind of stretch out a little bit, kind of let go of all the dust, all the tension that might have been built up, depending on where you are. Hey, Sydney, or maybe from just waking up and there's, getting that stiffness from being in bed or whatever. So just take a minute to reorient yourself, kind of recalibrate, shift yourself into the space of coming into being, and we'll get started. So as always, the most important thing we can do at this time, especially at this time in these times, is to make sure that we're really present with ourselves in the moment. And what that means is that we are fully here in the here and now, aligned in our physical bodies, our energy, our everything about us is right here, in contained, not really limited to the containment of our physical body, but that's our orientation, because we're in physical form and we're here in a physical environment. For those of us who are, and most of you I'm talking to are. Elizabeth, hello. And so just really letting yourself kind of connect in, see what's kind of floating around you. Just, it's like, okay, let's move it on out for right now. I'll just put it aside, and you can actually tell yourself that if you want to focus in on something. It says, okay, yeah, I can, this is coming up, but let's just put this over here on the side for now, and we'll come back to it. And then get oriented in your environment. So that's part of really coming into where we are now in this moment, is to be aware of ourselves in our environment. And there's different degrees to which we can do that. First one is just being aware of what's around you, just taking a moment to connect instead of like being up here and being on the device, like we are too often nowadays. Like everyone, I'll admit, me too. It's like, yeah, I could do with less of that. So putting all of that aside and taking in your environment, what's around you, what's immediately around you, and letting yourself slow down and connect in with your breath, letting your breath slow down as you look around. Look at the objects that are in your vicinity. Look at some details of those objects, like I'm looking around the room I'm in, and so there's wood frame to the bed, and there's like a little notches on the top of the bed, this little detail work on the bed, on the top of the board. Little things like that. Maybe there's a painting or a photo or framed on the wall. Take a look at that frame for a minute. Notice that, whatever it is. Maybe it's your cup. Look at the rim of the cup, and you probably look at the rim of the cup all the time. But as if you're going to draw it, or as if you're in the process of drawing. Just moving that your view around the edge of that rim, that cup, just to anchor that in for yourself. Just going to move that slightly to make sure I'm getting the comments on Instagram as well. There we go. And then paying attention to the sounds around you. Notice your body. Come back to your body. Notice the sound and come back to your body. notice the sound and get a sense of how far away it is, what direction it is from your body, and then coming into your body and still having awareness of where that sound came from, and then slowing down. Yeah, very good. And the head part, the head part, Elizabeth, feels like you've got a bit going on in your head. So, and that will come up. That's a habit that we all have, that we've just have developed, that our devices really put us into even more. So let's bring this down from the head into the heart space. So focusing on your breath, bringing your awareness down to your breath. And feeling the whole movement of your upper torso with the breath. So it expands out, and there should be kind of like this movement, a little bit backwards. It's not real big like this, but there's a little bit of a lifting up and then coming in, lifting up on the in-breath. As the whole body makes more room for the lungs to expand and that breath to come in, and then just kind of contracting in. So pay attention to that for a moment. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's about reconnecting with yourself. Yeah, that's better. You also get you tend to get like interference like above your head, is where it's showing up, Elizabeth, of just kind of like whether it's coming from other people, and so that would be that sensitivity to just beyond the physical frequencies, picking that up and just kind of hanging over your head. So put your hand on top of your head. You're squishing down the hair if you have to. Feel the top of that head. Become aware of that area. Because when we have something that comes in, so here we're going to take the example of like, just that's coming up here, that's kind of like filtering down, and so we're going that means you need to really come in and own this part of yourself. And what I mean by own is that you really become present here. So a good easy way to start is just to put your hand on top of your head. Everybody can do this because we all can use that reinforcement. Yeah. And feeling like, and even just pushing down a little bit with your hand. And so you feel the weight with your hand. Feeling there's your hand, and then there's your head. Really noticing the two, and there's the hand and there's the head. Again, this seems like this is, okay, God, what are we doing here? This is kind of boring. This is stupid. But if you're not there, if you're not present in your body, you need to come into that space and own your body. And this space, if you're not in here, stuff will come into wherever you are now, not other people's frequencies, other people's thoughts, other people's whatever. And so noticing that. I've started a new habit of sleeping with my hand on my head. I wonder if that's self. Yeah, that's a little bit of that. So coming into that. Then moving down, bringing that awareness down So your whole head. So actually, while we're sitting at the head, we're close your eyes, feel your head, feel yourself inside your head, your awareness inside your head. And then just left brain. Go into that area of your head, your brain, left brain. Just the left brain. Just hang out there for a while. Might start to feel lopsided when you do that. Taking a deep breath in and then shifting over to the right side. You might notice if you can feel that shift where you just, there's kind of this energetic movement from left to right. Notice that for yourself. Tuning in more deeply, be more aware of yourself. And then center of your head. Okay, shifting that out for people. A lot of people coming in here, and that's fine to stop in, but also bringing carrying a lot of baggage with you, and that's usually the people who don't show up all the time. The people who show up all the time come up a lot more clearer than you get these oddballs who come in every once in a while, and that's fine. But they're not doing their work, so they come in and there's a lot of baggage. By baggage, I mean frequencies that they don't even need to be carrying, and then they try to throw it around on other people. Bringing it up in spaces like that to get somebody else to do the work for them. No, we're not going to do that. You do your own work, because we are at that point in time where it's about everybody doing their own work. I'm not going to do it for you. So you want to show up, that's fine. But then do yourself a favor, you know? The hell with me, do yourself a favor. Clean yourself up. Because this is the end of the road that we are at. In case you haven't noticed, it's the end of the road. There we go. Yeah. So those of you who are doing your work, real good. Yeah, and you know who you are, like Sydney and Elizabeth. Definitely. Coming into, exhale out completely. And as you exhale out, drop down into the core of the new earth. Let's connect into, yep, very good. Core of the new earth, yeah. So dropping down. All the way in, very good. And just stay there for a minute. I'm going to anchor those of us who are here seriously. There we go. Yeah, and you'll notice when you anchor in and you get really kind of in there, that solidness that comes through. Yeah, very good. You guys are doing good. Yeah, so I'm going to speak especially to Sydney and Elizabeth here. Those are the ones I can see are doing good work, who are here seriously for themselves. And so you guys are both doing really well. Notice that shift, like Elizabeth, you really started, you had like all this kind of da, 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 and now it's you've really come into yourself and you're really centered. Now there's a way that you're doing that where it's like you're really holding on to that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We all kind of do that at the beginning when we really want to make sure, when we're just, or whenever we feel a little off and we really want to make sure, and we start really holding on to it's okay, let's do it. And you're like, tightening up kind of thing. And that's fine. So notice that and see if you can just kind of relax into yourself more. Because what will happen with the holding on tightly, it's the kind of that tight feeling. It's like, the first time or so, it's fine, here and there, it's fine. But then what happens is that it starts to create a separation, so that you're focusing, as you focus on really tightening up and really kind of anchoring in. And I'm tightening up like that because that's literally how it starts to happen. And then your muscles tighten up and you really get really focused. And then it starts to be about that. And so it starts to create a separation between that kind of focus and tension and intensity and really being aligned with yourself. So right now, kind of notice if you're doing that and how you're doing it, and maybe even where you're doing that. It's like is it your arms? It's your head. If you're focused, if you're and then relax in. Just kind of shift in and start paying attention to your, like if you notice it's your head, start noticing it's like, okay, eyebrows, like eyelashes. Feel it, look at it, just bring your awareness into your eyelashes, to your earlobes. Yeah, and kind of moving through to help you relax into your body. Sydney, so let's go to that top of that head thing for you. Yes, that is basically kind of keeping things. There's both that's happening. So when we have that opening, it's like you slip out too easily, especially at night. But it's at night that you really start to pay attention to that, because as we go into sleep and we go into that quiet time, relative to where you live, then we start actually noticing that kind of stuff even more. And we might wake up and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, but you do that quite a bit, and so it's a way of kind of keeping yourself in. Now, if you're not really anchored into yourself and in this area at the top of your head, that's going to make it more open for other stuff to come in. So it's kind of a double duty. It's like kind of keeping yourself in there, but also kind of keeping things from coming in. So that's fine. But take the time to put your hand up there and feel your head. Feel the top of your head and feel your hand there. And then keep your awareness on your head and then move your hand off of your head, just gently, slowly. And keep your feeling in your head in that area to really bring you into that area. That intensity happens to me when I surf. Okay, yeah, so so right now let's do this is just going to be kind of a general work session here, and I'm gonna let's see. So kind of just let's everybody take a deep breath in, hold at the top, hold it for 10, count of 10. Hold it longer. Almost there. And then exhale. Oh. Yeah. Come into that feeling yourself when you're just bring it back to mind. Yeah, there's a lot of intensity there. So right now, feel into that intensity that you have when you surf, and just kind of be present with it, and just kind of like, okay, so what is it that I'm experiencing here? What I mean by that is like literally just go through, where's the tension in your body, where, what's going on in what are you noticing, like physically in your body, where there's tension, where there's holding, where there's, and maybe what that's about, why are you tensing up so much? And just notice that for a minute. So, okay. And just come into your body even more. Feel your body all the way down to your feet. It's like your body knows what it's doing, but your head doesn't really trust, if that makes sense, Elizabeth. So that's part of the tensing up. Because when you don't trust it, the head, the mental piece will go into, I've got to do this. It's happening because of me. This part up here, it's happening because mentally I'm, the mind is going, I'm doing this, I'm taking charge of this. And your body is really what's, especially with something like surfing, your body is there and going with that movement and moving with that. So that's part of what I see with the intensity there. Yeah. All right, deep breath in. Hold it for a couple counts, and then exhale out. Okay. So there's somebody else that's showing up. This is a newer person, and boy, you're really lost. And lost to yourself and disoriented and pretty distorted. So take a deep breath in. Let's everybody take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Exhale slowly. Really focusing on that exhale and slowly letting the breath out. Ah. Then coming into the breath, coming into your chest, noticing your breath. Yeah, there we go. And just bringing your awareness there. Yeah. keeping your awareness there, just relaxing into that. Hey, Laria, good to see you. Yeah. Okay, Laria, we were just talking about the mind, the mental piece. I'm going to bring it up for you again because that's part of what you're working through from last time. The question you had last time is that whole that whole mental piece. So yeah, coming into the breath, feelings. There's somebody I'm working through with here. So just come into your breath and with everybody else, and just relaxing into that for a moment. There we go. So that person I was mentioning earlier, the one who is just having a really hard time, just lost herself. So there's a lot of constraints that you've been carrying for yourself. It's almost like you've been inside this mold and not been able to find your own orientation. So there's a lot of external factors that are kind of pushing into you, like external people, like family. So starting to ask yourself questions like, well, do I really believe this? Or does this really make sense for me? You don't have to bring it up with anybody. This is between you and you. And really start to ask yourself questions about, is this right for me? Does this make sense for me? And it could make sense for somebody else, but you got to figure out if it makes sense for you and start separating that out. Start kind of looking at yourself for yourself. Okay. So let's take a deep breath in. And that's a good one for all of us, right? Okay. So we started there. Let's go back into that. On your next exhale all the way out. Hold it for 2-3 counts all the way out. And then as you breathe, take your next in breath, just pulling that energy up from the core of the earth. And coming into the head. Just being aware of your head. And your skull. So there's that hair, there's the scalp, and coming into the skull, so the bone. Just have a sense of your skull, yeah. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute, Sydney. Coming into the skull. Now, coming a little bit more deeply into the brain. Feel your brain. Just kind of be aware of your brain. Your brain is sitting in this fluid. And it basically is kind of just about floating in that fluid. And maybe you'll get images of the brain, what the brain looks like and stuff, and that's good. Shift your awareness to the right side of to the left, that left side. Really feel yourself all in the left. Then take a deep breath in, hold it. And then as you exhale, shift to the right side. Yeah. And be there a little bit. Right side. And then deep breath in and hold it for just a couple counts. And then as you exhale, coming into the center. Awareness of the center of the brain, that center area of the brain. Yeah, very nice. Now so there's the brain and there's the brain stem that attaches in there. So kind of feel kind of just the brain stem. And slowly moving down into the spinal cord and the nervous system. And even if you don't know where that is, just kind of having a sense of you're moving from the brain, the brain stem into the spinal cord, and kind of getting into where the neck and the head connect. So right at that juncture now, having your awareness right at that juncture between the head and the neck. So right at the top, right, there's kind of that indentation. Kind of breathing into that. Yep, that's a prime spot there. And coming down, and we're staying in the spinal cord, which is at the center of the vertebrae, in the middle there. There are nerves that go out from there, but staying at that center. So it's like you've got the vertebrae all around your awareness. Just feeling the neck, feeling yourself there in the neck, yeah. Oh, there we go, clearing out some good stuff there. Yeah. And just stay there a little bit longer. With your breath, just being pressed there and breathing. Okay, very nice. Let's move down to like the top of the shoulders, to the bottom of the shoulder blades, that area of the spine. You're still in the spine, so gently moving down. You can go as fast as you want, but kind of bringing your awareness into that whole area. And if you feel yourself kind of out to the sides, that's fine. Just kind of like take a breath in. And then on the exhale, just kind of, or on the inhale, rather, bringing your awareness really into the center there. Yeah. A lot of people are moving off. This is good. Clearing out some just little fragments of energies there, frequencies from other than you. Elizabeth, you feel like you've got some stiffness in that area. I want to say it's your left. It goes into your left shoulder, left side, upper side there. And Ilaria, see if you can really anchor in a little bit more strongly, just using this time to just kind of come in more deeply into that area for yourself. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're clearing stuff out for people, so just keep centered in that area. Let's get that reset for people. I'll explain at the end why in a minute. Okay. Okay, very nice. Shifting us, sliding just down, sliding down again, that center column into below the bottom, the lower rib cage, the last ribs that are not attached in the front, but they're attached in the back. And to, let's say, the hips. The hips are actually pretty high, so yeah, there we go. It's going to be right above the sacrum area. Bringing your awareness there, your spine, spinal cord, center of the, Scott, hello Scott, just noticed you are on Instagram over there. It says focused in. And so Larry, just coming back into that spinal cord. We'll get to that. I'll look at the comments in a minute. Okay. It's not so charged for people, but there's still some stuff. So just keeping your awareness there, and let's clear that more deeply for people. Yeah. And now coming into that lower spine. So we have like a little bit above the sacrum, the sacrum, and then the tailbone. So feeling into that whole area, which is got some good juice there. So let's clear that up. Really bringing your awareness down there into that whole area. A lot of pressure on some of you from external forces that might translate into your lives as pressure around relative to sexuality, pressure in relationships, and it doesn't have to be intimate relationships. It can be just even professional relationships where you just you have that pressure on you to maybe perform a certain way, to act a certain way, to be a certain identity. So really breathing into that area, bringing your awareness there. Laria, for some reason, you're popping up with this one. So having to be a certain way, being expected to be a certain way. Crafted healing. Hello. Well, welcome. Yeah, we've been at it for a little bit, but welcome. We started about 40 minutes ago, so just for future reference. If you want to come in earlier, so that's all right. That's fine to jump in at the end, towards the end here. So really, let's everybody again take a nice deep breath in, pulling up all that energy from the core of the new earth, holding it and really coming again into that area, lower top of the hips down to the tailbone. So we're focusing on the back. Very strongly too to do with professional stuff and sexuality. Yeah. Okay, good. So just coming into that area and really being present, focusing on the breath, being there as best as you can. I think it's a little difficult for some people here. And some dark stuff, not necessarily external oogie boogie stuff, but dark stuff meaning that you've misused and abused yourselves, and by allowing yourself to get pushed into something along those lines. Yeah. And just being present in that area while I focus on my end and clear this up for people, clear up at least what's showing up today for people in that area. And if you're finding it difficult to be here, also kind of we're kind of shifting into the whole pelvic area, front to back, which is fine. Yeah, so I was about to say that, Ilaria. So queasy feeling, just fuck that, Ilaria, with is really bringing your awareness there, and if you feel kind of uneasy being there, saying no, this belongs to me. This is my body. This is me. Out, whatever you need to say, but really affirm that. It's like no, no, no. And okay, we keep coming. We've been through this before, but I'll say this for everybody. So where her comment was, I get queasy feeling in front of patriarchal men who want to control. Yeah. And understand that there's the feminine, the distorted feminine side to that. Because if you did not have that distorted feminine in you that you learned from distorted women, then you would have learned to be strong, and you would have said no. And you wouldn't have had that come up for you. So, and there's actually there's a lot more to that for you. There is this seduction piece, and this kind of just wanting to just turn yourself over. And when I say that, it's about just not wanting somebody else to just take care of everything for you and not do it. So it's this weird, it kind of gets very convoluted, very kind of twisted around, because it's not straightforward, it's not clean. And everything gets entangled with everything else. And who do you have pop up? Vanessa on the other side. Hello. Yeah, we got some good juicy stuff going here. So I kind of coming in at the end, but that's good. Good to join in. So really come into that area, and more than just now, but after this session, everybody take a deep breath in. We need to go even deeper in this area. So I will look. There's some good comments. I just want to stay just focused on this clearing for everybody, and then I'll give crafted healing and seek your comments. So let's really everybody just bring into that area. Really good juju here that we got going. So let's keep it going. Yeah, there's a lot of strings, these energetic strings of attachment here to people. So yeah, I think Vanessa on the other side there, you've got some lingering. I know you've been working on this, but some lingering ones there too. So really coming into that whole lower top of the hips all the way down, tip of the tailbone, the groin area, that whole area. Breathing in, yeah. Gooey stuff. Good question, Elizabeth. I'll get to that afterwards too. Yeah, really, everybody's doing a really great job. Just keep breathing into that. Let's as a whole group, let's just take another deep breath in from the core of the earth and exhale all the way out, reaching to the core of the earth, and then inhaling all the way fresh frequencies into that whole lower pelvic area, front, back, all around, top, bottom, sides, everywhere. Yeah. So this is good. A lot of good. If you're aware of it, that means it's shifting through, and tell yourselves like, nope, we're out. This is moving on out here. Let it go. Absolutely. Be glad that you're seeing it because it's moving out. Ugh. Yeah. Heating up here. Okay, that should start feeling a lot lighter here. Yeah. Very good. Really good. Good job, everybody. And Mary, hello. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. Let me go back. And so just keep your awareness there. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good shifting happening for people. At least a lot of stuff. All right. Let me go back and look at these comments. We had some good ones here. Okay. Sydney, you want to share a realization I had this morning that part of the reason why I'm cleaning up families because I'm removing the attachment stores and entities that involved. Yeah, because they're all in you. So, right. Very good. My awareness is shifting. Yes. And that will, it's like your awareness will be shifting as you become aware of that stuff and as you come into yourself and as it leaves. Yeah, very good. And can you address what OG has spoken about in the middle of the breast line in between the scapula? She has spoken about a conscious port that gift come from that area. I'm not quite understanding the last space. So there's the thing there's some areas that are a bit more potent and a bit more for that getting plugged into or getting controlled or getting or that are basically kind of entry ports. You can call it a consciousness port if you want, and for me, it's like every area of your body is a piece of consciousness. So if it's a port, yes, it's going to be a port. There's a really the back of in the scapula, that's right into that heart space area. And on the backside, we tend to have a lot of people who attach from the back because they're like sneaking in from behind, or we're not paying attention to the back. We're kind of like tend to put all our attention in front of us, and then they just sneak in the back and they hook in and then they plug into that heart space from behind. There's a port in at the top of the neck, and that's actually kind of a communication port, kind of like in Avatar, where they're like connecting in with their little strands, their braids. I want to say their braids. So it's like the port is like that in the nape also. But if you're not, as I say, fully owning that space, meaning that you are present and you are cleared out what's kind of been in that area. And so working what we did today, working on the spine, was to focus on clearing out stuff that doesn't even be in there. That's just a communication port. But when you're not kind of in charge of yourself, then you've got this other stuff plugging into you. People want to control you. They will come into that area and control your thoughts, control what you do, etc. Will come into that area at that energetic frequency level. So those are just areas where they're kind of more prominent. Another one that a lot of people don't really look at is the navel. That's a pretty big entry port, let's say, and it obviously mother to child at the human level, but it goes into beyond the human level and getting plugged into that area as well. Let's see, I'm feeling an activation there, but not sure if that's what Jesus said. Other people's energies, external force. So let's see. I just tune and tap in for a minute. You've got a lot of stuff going in. You've got a lot of attachments into there. It's sort of like you've been kind of a little bit of a marionette for and so it's sort of like people having their hand in back there and moving you like a marionette, if that kind of makes sense. So when you clear that out, that will be that taking you into that deeper state for yourself. But right now, there's still some cleanup there that's going up. Of course, as you clean up, then that's, there's both happening at the same time. You clean out some stuff, and then there's more consciousness there, but maybe not completely, so it's work in progress kind of thing. All right, yes, it resonates. Feeling it very strongly too with okay, so that's the pressure from on the relationship area, a queasy feeling in front of, okay, we talked about that. Yeah, so Ilaria, kind of really look at that, because there's this double entendre thing. You've got this positive and negative thing, and so you need to pull those threads apart for yourself. Energetic abuse and flux between the feminine and masculine. Well, it's just like stepping out of that whole dynamics, because you want to step into neither of those, and you want to step beyond those. So as long as it's energetic abuse and flux between the feminine and masculine, you're in that old paradigm. So letting all of that, stepping out of all of that is what is needed, really. Okay, crafted and healing. Let's take a look here. I meditate faithfully day and night. I have a lot of trauma and trying to heal. A lot has happened in my life, and I'm not sure I have a question, but simply making a statement. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, there's that question, that unstated question of like, well, how do I move forward? How do I get out of this? How do I move beyond this? So it's the sense of there's more to this. I know there's more to this, but I haven't really been experiencing this. I certainly haven't gotten this in my life. I've been struggling here. So how do I move forward is what I'm hearing in terms of that unstated question, and I want to come back to a minute. There's something that's just kind of sitting there in the ethers for you. So I'm going to come back. Let me go to that. Yes, I agree. Blessings. Okay. There's a lot of gooey stuff coming off in my sacral area. Is that from past partners I've been with? Yeah, so that's a really good point to bring up, is if we really knew how imprinted we would be with our sexual partners, then maybe we would be a little bit more careful about who we would choose, because yes, there's this imprinting that happens, and if when we're not holding our own, and when we're not in an elevated XI, if you know what I mean, for those who know what I mean, a relationship, then there's going to be this enmeshment. So that gooey stuff is from that enmeshment from not having been in full ownership of yourself, as well as ownership of that other person. Where when you come together, it's this expansion of the self for each person within that context. So yes, that's basically what's happening. I just started my period, and Vanessa on the other side, I can see you've got a comment. I'll come get to you in a minute too. There's a lot of gooey stuff coming off my sacral area. Oh wait, I've seen that. Okay, just started my period, feeling looser in that area. Thanks all. Yeah, good. Yeah, periods are nice because they are that release process. When we really allow ourselves to go into that instead of fighting it and saying we don't want to have our periods and we don't want to go into that and it's yuck and it's all that, and a lot of pain coming up, but that's also part of what that struggle around the release that comes up. Feeling a lot of energy going through my legs and feet, core north grid. Yeah, good. Mary, hi, thank you. Okay. Don't have the specific, you're just saying hello there. So good. Back activates when I'm meditating. Yeah, so I mean, when you're in that deeper states, things will come, you'll become more aware and come more to the surface. And I have intuitions or knowings. Yeah, there's still some stuff. So it's always that work in progress, like I said, of just coming into becoming more prominent for yourself. Okay. What if you have had major surgery around navel area? I assume that would need more clearing. That there's scar tissue that can develop, not just at the physical level, but there's a lot of trauma that's coming through around that. Also at the energetic level, and so that can actually be worked at the energetic level. Hey, you've got there's some past life stuff that's coming through on that navel area piece. Okay, let me jump over to. Please check with the cage. My head is gone. You've been working on yourself. You're working hard. So, all right, Vanessa, let's take a nice deep breath in. There's a lot that's clearing out for people. Everybody's feeling a lot cheerier and a lot more positive. So that's good. Dropping down, connecting into the core of the earth. And let's do another breath. Exhale out completely, dropping into the core of the new earth. And then inhaling all the way up into your chest space, filling your whole body up. Yeah. Radiating that out. All right, let's see. And then coming into that chest and that breath and awareness of the breath. Okay, Vanessa. Let's see, where were you last week? Let's check on that. Okay, it is better, but you got some sneaky pieces that are still kind of there. So how much is cleaned up? I think I would say you've cleaned up about 50-70% of it, but there's some pieces that you just need to go in more deeply with yourself and be even more connected. But it's much better. I think it feels like it's kind of more in the neck, and they're harder to see. So don't push, okay? Don't don't go in there. It's like, I'm going to clear this out now, right? Because then you're setting up this resistance to come in. Just gently, just bring your awareness into your neck, into that area, and just be present with yourself there. And just be kind of like, okay, I'm curious. Let's just see what's there. you know, maybe putting it aside for a couple days kind of thing. Yeah, so work in progress. I mean, I got some stuff that's still coming up, and you might notice also that it's there one day, and then it feels like you've cleared it up, and then you notice it again later. And what that means is you just haven't. And I've got some pieces like that show up, and it just means you haven't gotten to the level that you need to get at to shift that yet. So it will kind of like pull back from you, but then it's going to come back in. So you haven't reached that level or that depth to get to that core kind of thing. But you're doing better, yeah. All right. Thank you for answering all our valuable insights and questions. Yeah, everybody had some really good questions. Crafted healing. Okay, before I go on to you, Elizabeth, let me come back to crafted healing because that just popped back in. So, okay, I'm good. I'm just going to start talking because I can feel that it's there and the words haven't popped into my mind yet. But what you can do for yourself, and this is for everybody, is when you're in the evening, before you go down to go to sleep, you can do this in writing. I like to do it in writing because I get a lot of visual information through the visual field, literally through my physical eyes. And but you can also speak it for yourself internally if that works for you. I'm just one of those people who gets a lot more out of writing it out. Just take a deep breath into yourself. So this is, right before you're going to go turn off the light and lay down. Take a deep breath in. So you're kind of sitting in bed and just come into, feel your intent, let's line more deeply into myself here. And then say, and then just literally kind of say, this is where I'm at. I don't know what to do about this. I've had all this trauma. I'm just taking what you said earlier. I've had this trauma. I'm aware of this. I did this abuse, and I want to move beyond that, but I don't know how. And I'd like to move on. I just don't know how, and I'm scared. I'm a little nervous, and that's it. Just put it aside. At night, let your higher self, your spirit, whatever, is going to come in and just start opening that up. First thing in the morning, when you wake up, if you can do this before you move, just kind of sit there and hold yourself in stillness without going into thinking. If you notice yourself starting to think, that's fine. Just kind of come into that stillness of mind and body and focus in on your breath. If you feel stuff, just tell your, all of the things are coming to the surface. Just say, it's just moving through. Just allowing it to, in that stillness, just having that intention of allowing it to shift out of you. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but if you can do that for the first few moments when you wake up, to just in that stillness, when you hold yourself still, and mentally as well, physically, it just helps you to really connect into your body, becoming aware of your body, and shifting out of what's cleared out through the night. So I hope that helps crafted healing. All right, Elizabeth, final thing for today. We're way past the hour, but I guess we're still on, so we're going. How do I know I'm ready and am able to hold my space when I enter into a relationship? And a really good question. Am I able to remove the imprints by myself? Okay, let's start with the second question first. Removing the imprints for yourself. The best thing to do is just coming into your body, coming into that awareness of your body. There might be some times that you find are really good. For me, the first thing in the morning tends to be real potent because we're still in that kind of more of the alpha, theta, alpha state, and then you have these deeper awarenesses that come in. And just being present with yourself, coming into your body and coming into your whole body. And if you want to focus in on your kind of whole pelvic area, that whole area, groin and all that, you can do that, and you can, and you do want to do that for those imprints. Really feel into those areas. Just breathe into that. What comes into your awareness is what, it's like finally coming out of the subconscious mind into the conscious mind and shifting out. When you become aware of that, you say, okay, letting that go. Okay, or finish with that. Take a deep breath into that area and feel into it more. It could be past relationships. It could also be just imprinting from, experiences in your life or previous times. So there's the first question. Second question, let me read that again. How do I know I'm ready and I'm able to hold my space when I enter into a relationship? Okay, there's a little bit of a catch-22 here. So first, just feel into yourself and feel where you're at with relationship. Are you desperately wanting a relationship? If that, then you're not going to be fully ready for probably the relationship you're kind of aiming there with your question. So when you can get to a place of being just present with yourself, and I want to say neutral. I mean, yes, there's that excitement of the new relationship, but you can also go without being in it. It's like, it's nice to have that excitement, and I'm good by myself too. I'm good with just myself. So that's a deeper level of being ready. Now the catch-22 is that, and that's the holding your space when you're really in there and strong. But the catch-22 is that you can't really know fully until you start moving through that relationship, and it will show you where you need to shift. And so it's like following the lead of the relationship, and it will show you, it will guide you to coming more and more into being your own person and holding your own. So we are about as ready as we can be, and then the relationship, going into a relationship, when you get kind of, when it shows up for you, will also help you to move in that direction. It might not be necessarily a long-lasting relationship or a great relationship, but it provides that reference, that space where you really get a lot of that feedback that's saying, okay, I'm still off on this side, and moving through it with awareness. So really, really beautiful questions there. Okay, Marianne, thank you for this. I need to go now. Yes, so we're going to end here. Really good work, everybody. And really kind of a charged session. So in a good way, in a really good way. So just before I will flash on my QR code here for those who want to donate. It's always welcomed. And thank you all for showing up. Great session. Good work for everybody. We're here every Wednesday, but it's like an hour earlier, whatever time zone you're in, 7 p.m. Central European time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And stop on by. You're welcome to come by anytime. Sometimes it's a little slow at the beginning. We've been getting some wacky people showing up, and some of these sessions. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get going than other times. But you're always all welcome. And Vanessa and Scott, thanks for joining on this side too. So take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next time in the ethers or in person or on these calls. Take care, everybody.